My journey as an author is maybe not traditional. I loved to read when I was growing up. I loved to create stories for my Barbie dolls that lasted for days. Maybe I should have known that I was going to be an author, but honestly, I didn't. In high school, I did have a teacher who singled me out, and she was known for her beehive hairdo and her intimidation tactics. And when she called me to the front of the class, I was terrified, but she wanted to encourage me. And she said that I was one of the best writers that she had taught in her many years of teaching. And she encouraged me to pursue writing as a career. So when I went to college, I majored in journalism because at that time, I really didn't think being an author was a viable career. Like we didn't have the access to authors that we do today through social media or even a lot of book signings. They just didn't really come to Ohio. So I hadn't really thought that I could write my own books. But I wanted to do some sort of writing, and I majored in journalism, and I was really enjoying it when I had one of my professors sit me down, and he said, "You are too talented to write stories about old ladies with too many cats and make no money." And he said, "What you really need to do is broadcast journalism." And that terrified me. I was such an introvert, and even just getting up in class and doing a presentation made me hyperventilate. So there was no way like I was gonna be on the news. So I ended up going into business, and I was in human resources with Fortune 500 company. It wasn't until about 8 years ago, maybe 9 years ago, I had a serious illness. And as I've shared on a lot of my social media, I have Crohn's disease, and I've had it since I was in my early 20s. And I just had an extreme flare-up. And the doctors didn't really know what to do with me. They were saying that they were gonna send me to the Mayo Clinic and do experimental trials. And so I had to take six weeks off of work, and I was pretty much in constant pain. And I didn't know what to do with this. I'm kind of like a silver lining kind of person, and I wanted to make this into a positive experience. So I was kind of praying, like, God, what do I do with this? How do I make this horrible experience into something positive? And, what do you want me to do with my life? It's got to be more than this. And so I ended up having a dream, and it was a whole book, like a whole novel in one dream. And I woke up the next day and started writing. And that's kind of how the whole author thing sparked inside of me.